As you all know, that 1/3 of the American population is obese. So because of that, it's not hard to accept the ABC statistic that 108 million people diet every year. And of these people who are dieting, they try 4 or 5 diets every year. What am I calling a diet? I'm calling a diet a plan or program to cut or limit food groups in order to lose weight, as well as substituting your foods for fat-free, sugar-free, or calorie-type snacks. My claim today is that dieting behavior can lead to harmful consequences. Well, why is that? There are a lot of diets out right now that do really weird things, like the Atkins diet, which was out a couple years ago, where you don't eat a whole lot of carbs, so your insulin levels go down, so you're not making new fat cells. Or Weight Watchers, where you're just making sure that you're not eating very many calories, but they don't really make sure that you're eating the right types of foods. And a new type of diet that came out that's #2 on the US news, the TLC diet, which is low fat, but if you're trying to lose weight on it, women should be eating less than 1,200 calories every day, which is too low in my opinion. So what are my claims? Diets are a temporary solution that are often counterproductive in the long term, and that artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas are unhealthy. So why are diets a temporary solution that are often counterproductive in the long term? The body requires a balance of proteins, carbs, and fats. We learn this in every biology class, every health class. You need all 3, but there are millions of diets coming out every year that are telling you that you should be limiting one group or the other so that your fat content can go down and you lose weight. Biologically, humans are built to store fat for famine. John Gabriel, the best-selling author of The Gabriel Method, was quoted for a documentary called Hungry for Change, and he quoted this very well. Thousands of years ago, we lived outdoors and we didn't know where our next meal was coming from. If there was a famine because it was cold winter or whatever it was, the body would want to hold extra fat to protect you from that. Every time you make your body lose weight through sheer force, you will have to pay back with interest because your body is going to want to have extra weight to protect you from the perceived famine. So, when you go on a diet and you lose weight and you force yourself to do it in an unhealthy way, your body's going to think that you're in a famine-type state. So when you return to your natural diet, or whatever it was that you were eating before, your body's going to pack on fat so that it can be ready for the next famine you're going to put yourself through. While it is possible to lose weight on a diet, it will come back with interest. A study done at UCLA on 31 different mainstream or useful diets found that in under 2 years, 23% of people who took these diets gained back the weight that they lost and more. And after 2 years, 83% of the people gained back the weight plus more. It's possible to lose weight on a diet, but your body's going to come back and put it right back on unless you continue on this diet, which you're probably not you're not enjoying it because you're limiting yourself. It's not a healthy way to go. My second claim is that artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas are unhealthy. Real sugars satisfy the body and signal the hypothalamus, the reward system in your brain, to stop eating. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame don't do this. When you eat a candy bar or a piece of cake, your body says, yes, eat more of it because it's tasty and because it's got a lot of sugar in it. So your body wants it so that you can get the energy for all your cells to do cellular respiration and for all the things that you need to do. And it signals your hypothalamus, which is in your brain, like when you eat it, your brain says, that was good, okay, you can stop now because you've got the calories you needed. Artificial sweeteners don't do this. A study published in the National Center for the U.S. National Library of Medicine said that preload experiments generally found that sweeter tastes, whether delivered by sugar or artificial sweeteners, enhance human appetite. I already explained that. She went on to say that unlike glucose or sucrose when decreased the energy intake at the test meal, artificial sweetener preloads either had no effect or increased subsequent energy intake. So what they did in the experiment was they had 2 groups of people. The first group had water sweetened with real sugar, and the other group had water sweetened with artificial sweeteners. The group that had the real sugar drank it, and they didn't want to eat as much. They were satisfied with the actual sugar that was in the water. The artificial sweetened water test group wanted to eat more because they weren't getting the calories that their brain was thinking they were getting out of the artificial sweeteners. The other reason that aspartame is dangerous or unhealthy for you is that it can kill your brain cells. Usually it won't do this, but when combined with caffeine and in high dosages, like in diet sodas, if you drink more than like 5 or 6 a day, it can start to be dangerous for you. And the reason that is that aspartame is an excitotoxin. Published on Dr. Mikala's website, a health nutritionist, he said, aspartame is a form of excitotoxin. The chemical travels to the brain via the blood and performs as a neurotransmitter. It allows calcium and free radicals to enter the brain cells that later die as a result of overstimulation. Aspartame is referred to as an excitotoxin because it excites cells to death. So in large dosages and when combined with caffeine, aspartame can go into the brain and excite your cells in a way that you get like a buzz, and then your brain cells will just fizz out and die. That is why artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas are unhealthy. The reasons I listed above are why dieting behaviors can lead to harmful consequences.
Yeah, Daniel, we'll just have you ready on Tuesday, okay? Be ready to go. What about you? Well, then you would fit in that category also. Do I have an evaluation form from you? I don't see it. I'm not saying it isn't here, but I'm telling you I don't see it at the moment. Maybe it's buried in here somewhere. I'll look for it in just a second. Let me talk about Mikala's speech first, because everybody wants to get out of here, I can tell. I thought that you had a nice introduction. There's nice timing on the statistics and the last speech. I thought that was okay. There's a clear statement of the proposition, although it still seems a bit broad. The secondary issues, I think, are clearly laid out. There are only 2 of them. You explain them pretty well. There's a lot of explanation that's going on of what the theory is. I do think that you need stronger evidence on that theory, especially on the second point where you're talking about the danger of the brain cells and it being an excitotoxin. You've got one quote on this, and that's about it. And the notion that the brain cells die either in large numbers or even at a level that's going to create some harm, I think needs to be documented a bit. The explanations, I understand all the explanations. What I think I need is a little bit more data on that. You talk about the one study where they drank sugar water or the artificially sweetened water and the people consume more. That sounds like it's a paraphrase of what the conclusion was, and we ought to be getting that directly quoted from the study itself. And as a consequence, it just sounds, like I said, more like explanation rather than argument, and I think your evidence needs to be a little bit sharper. But you do a pretty good job. I actually thought you did a better job in the last couple of minutes of the speech than at the beginning. At the beginning, you seemed really locked into your notes and you're just going through, but as you got to the second point, I think you relaxed a little bit more and seemed more confident while you were speaking. You'll be able to tell if that's true when you watch your videotapes, or your videotape, there's no tape here, when your videos later. Sorry, there ought to be a term for that.